To start from here, then, so the first question I always ask everybody, how did poetry begin for you?
Uh, Actually, it was a sixth grade writing contest. I had never written
Okay.
a poem before, and it sounded like a fun time, so I wrote a poem, and I sent it in, and I didn't really have any high expectations because there was a girl in my class who she won everything. I mean, anytime she entered into anything, she always won. But they announced it, and I ended up winning, and I was completely surprised. But I can't say I was as surprised as the girl who won everything. The look on her face was pretty priceless. But ever
That's
since
awesome.
then,
So,
sorry, go ahead.
yeah, so I was gonna ask, so was this like kind of like a rivalry between you and this other girl, or was it just one of those things like she just happened to be that one person that just happens to win everything? Like, talk to me about that a little bit.
No, we didn't have a rivalry at all. She was just the best at everything, and everybody always knew that she was going to be the winner, whatever she did. So none of us were ever very confident in winning anything when we were going up against this girl.
Ah, okay, okay. So I wanted to ask about your poetry. So what was it like when you wrote your first poem? What made you continue writing that like poetry and stuff like that? And where did it all come from as far as like the inspiration and the way you write and all that stuff? Like where did that all stem from?
Well, ever since I wrote that first poem, I mean, my mom was so proud of me. She framed it, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, you're such a great writer." And so I was like, "Well, maybe this is something I'm good at." And I started doing it as more of like a therapy for me. It did help me in my younger years just try and figure out my feelings, my big feelings as a teenager. And it's been a therapy for me ever since then. And I've never really tried to write in any type of style. My style has progressed over the years, but I was never trying to like imitate or do anything that anybody else was doing. I just wrote whatever I was feeling.
Okay, so walk me through that though. It's very interesting. So like as you were progressing, you were going through your feelings and stuff like that. Did you find anything interesting or odd or anything like was it anything about it that caught your eye that when you wrote a few pieces you're like, oh wait, I could write like that? Was there anything particular that came to mind for that?
I think honestly, I did have kind of a darker side. Um, it was something that I kind of dove into in my teenage years, just because it felt good to like get those dark feelings out. Um, and ever since then, I think that's kind of progressed in my writing. A lot of my poetry is kind of dark. Um, there is a lot of like deep thoughts in there, and I find myself writing a lot of abstract thoughts. I guess I see a lot of my thought process through pictures, and so I kind of try and think of things that make sense through pictures and also make sense through words, and I can make them more of like a metaphor, if that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense. It's interesting though. So, describe those feelings in a way. Like how did that look like? Was it something like it? You saw a picture of it and you wrote what you saw. Was it something like it? Like explain to me what that looked like for you because I know what you're saying. Like when it comes to like writing your feelings down and like you explore. It's like I look at it like a maze. Like you little by little you start exploring stuff. You're like, oh wait, what's this over here? Is it one of those like, okay, I had to be careful how I open this door because maybe I might be scared? And with that being said, was there certain periods of that dark poetry? Did it scare you at times, or was it one of those you were okay with just okay, screw it, I'm gonna go explore it? I'm curious to know.
Um, I wouldn't say that I was scared. I think other people might have been scared of my writing sometimes. I do remember in my high school days, we had to write about Edgar Allan Poe, and I was already writing poetry a lot. Um, and I wrote a short story that was it was very dark. and very Edgar Allan Poe-ish. They did send me to the counselor and make sure that I
Oh
was
my
okay.
God.
It
Okay.
was a completely like false story. It was dark, but it did scare people. But I mean, I've never been really afraid of what I was writing because I knew. I mean, yes, it's dark, but it's not. I'm not dark in nature. It's just me getting out those
Right.
feelings.
Right. And do you the darkness stuff that you wrote about, right? Does that at all like does that align with the personality that you are as, or is it just it just comes out and that's it?
Oh, well, I'm a pretty happy, silly kind of person. When people meet me and they're like, and they do read my poetry, they're like, "This is so not you." Like, where do you come up with this stuff? Because I really am not that dark person. It's just things that I have inside me that I get out, and maybe that's why I can be happy and perky is because I've gotten all my shit out, you know.
How did that feel? Like, how does it feel for you when you get the stuff out? How does that feel for you? Like, how does that feeling look like to you when it's out? Like, okay, good. Like, is it one of those, oh my God, I'm so proud I wrote that? Or is it like, oh, I'm impressed, didn't know I can write that? Like, how does that look like for you?
Sometimes I'm impressed with myself. Most of the time, it's just relief. It's a release feeling. I'm like, okay, I got all that out. Whew, I can go about my day now. And then I'll go back and be like, oh, okay, yeah, that was actually pretty good. I'm proud of that one.
Nice, nice. And I understand you do have a book, right? From Twilight Till Dawn, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I do. Yes, it's my first book, and it is poetry. I think it's just within 1 year that I had all of this poetry. It's actually, it's during a time that I met somebody that I'm still with. I fell in love with him, and a lot of emotions and feelings were coming out during that time, and it's actually what got me back into writing after a long time of not writing. So I wanted to showcase that, and my writing had changed a lot after that too. So um, I wanted to put all that together so I could remember it, and also just to show other people.
Um, so Jack Valtrade says that's a nice way of putting it. The darkness has to come out so we can be light. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, definitely. It's helpful for sure.
Oh, definitely, definitely. So why don't you show us, give us an example of your writing, so for those who are listening, they have a good sense of how your writing looks like.
Okay. Let me see. I actually wanted to share some of my lighter ones, but I can definitely find a darker one too. Let's see. Just 1 minute.
That's all good. I'm gonna just write it on the. Forgot to pin the thing. Let people know what kind of live this is. But for those who are jumping in, thank you for coming through as we highlight Ambrea Noel. I got a little backstory behind how me and her started interacting while you're looking for your piece. Um, Long story short, because I do enjoy her pieces and stuff like that. And what ended up happening was she thought I was spam sharing. She thought I was spam sharing her stuff because sometimes,
I
like
forgot
back in
about
the
that.
day, like back in the early 2020s, everybody was like, oh, check out this piece, and then everybody just, but no one really read it. Like I actually read it, I did it, and then she thought, oh, but you just spam. I said, no, it's not really like that at all. And it was just kind of funny situation. And from there, we just started talking, and great interaction. So I say, like when I start my season 9, I was like, you know what? I have to get an interview with you. So here we are.
Yeah, so exciting. Sorry, of course my internet went down, so that's helpful. Let's see.
Here's some weird noise because my brother-in-law has a dog upstairs that runs. So I'm trying to mute whenever it's interesting. But anyway, oh man. But while you're looking for the P, I wanted to ask you more about your book. Where from Twilight Till Dawn, where did that come from? How did you come up with the title? And then also, how did it feel to finally get that book written? Here it is. It's done. Final piece. Now it's released. Like, tell me how that felt like. What was that feeling like while you were going through it? Like, let me know. Like, how did that look like for you?
Um, I didn't plan on making a book. It was actually a last moment decision. I saw that Amazon had a way where you could build your own book online, which I thought was fascinating because I had never been able to put any type of book together. And like I said, I had met somebody that really got my inspiration going. And when I found out that I could make a book that way, I just decided to curate a lot of the poems that happened in that time that I was falling in love with this guy, and all of the feelings and trepidation and things that go along with falling in love with somebody. And so the book is laid out into literally, it's supposed to span one night, like one day to night. And that's kind of how I curated it together to make it seem like it went from, you know, the early morning the early evening until the early morning. So I put it together pretty fast, I'm not gonna lie. But when I did finish it and I saw it, I was like, wow, this is actually pretty good for my first book. So it was definitely like a dry run for me. I do plan on doing something that I take a lot more time in doing. And but yeah, it felt great to finally put something out there that was mine. And I'm like, this is all my work. It felt pretty good.
That's awesome, and I love that. I like the fact that someone you fell in love with inspired you in a way that, you know what, I want to put it out there. And it's true. Yeah, like I remember the whole Amazon thing when it first came out, but I've been curious to know what that was like. So, if you don't mind me asking, wait, were you able to find a piece, get your thing working or no?
It's it's coming up now. I'm looking right now. But
All
go
right,
ahead.
cool. No, no. So why? Okay, so tell me about the whole Amazon thing, because because I've always been skeptical of that because I've heard so many nightmares about the whole Amazon thing.
Mhm.
What like how was that like? Like, did you have to write the stuff first? You know, like once everything was put together and then upload it. Like, how does that process look like when you use the Amazon thing?
Yeah, so everything was pre-written and then you can upload it into the format. The hardest part of it was actually formatting it because you do have to format it yourself. So getting the format right to where everything was on the page that you wanted it to be on, I think that was the hardest part. I did get frustrated plenty of times with that. But once it was finished, it looked great and it was easy to find a cover. It was easy to get it all together, and once it was done, I mean, it looked fantastic, and it goes up for ebooks as well as you can just read it on the internet. But yeah,
This is how
it
the
was
cover looks like, guys. This is how the cover looks like. I mean, so I figured let me show you like the cover of the book and stuff while you're telling me. But I love that layout, like that whole cover. That's just immaculate. I love that so much. Like you
Thank
just
you.
okay. All right, perfect. No, so that's great though. I love that inspiration that it just moved you to do that. But you know what's good about that too? I guess the fact that you could look back, be like, hey, see, like now you have a story to talk about of how this all came about. So that's impressive for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It does feel like unreal. It feels surreal sometimes, like when you're like, oh yeah, I wrote a book. All right, I found one.
Awesome.
All right, so this is one of my darker pieces. Like I said, I don't write all dark stuff, but um, I'll just start it off. It's called Darkness Drips. Darkness drips down from the sky, a pitter-patter pattern releasing within a sigh. Darkness can encompass a focused light within, bleeding and conceding into an illusioned right to win. Darkness drips like a leaking faucet. Within a moment, I have completely lost it. Within a second, I have undeniably changed. Within minutes, my life has completely rearranged. Darkness drips down from the sky, yet a fuse I rebelliously light, sending unimaginable colors deep into the night. Darkness is only a dream, the absence of light, a balance that I have yet to conceive, a fact of life that I can't deny when darkness drips down from the sky.
Wow. No, wow. Hold on. Wow. Damn. Hold on. Yo. Oh my God. You know what? If one of my Friday crew, Florence, was here, she'll be on the comments saying you're having a poetry gasm. That's exactly what that was. Holy shit. Wow. Can you
Thank you.
hold up? Talk to me about that, because I love the imagery, the way you describe. Because everybody has their own way of how darkness looks like to them.
Yeah.
How'd you talk to me about that? That is wow.
Well, when I do get into like my dark places, I'm sure a lot of people feel this way. You just feel like the darkness is everywhere, like it touches everything. It just consumes you, and you want to get a release from that for sure. You're reaching for the light. You're trying to find something to get you out of that. So the darkness dripping from the sky kind of reminds me of like gloomy days, rain, just anything dark and gloomy you can think of. That's kind of the imagery I was going for.
Wow. I love the. Oh my God. See, I got. Oh my God. Wow. I'm sorry because I love that so much. Wow. I literally
You're making
cannot
me blush
contain
over
myself
here.
right now. This is crazy. Wow. Because the description, like, oh my God, the whole thing with the sink, I love that. That is, wow.
You're making me blush.
Yeah, I'm having the only blushy poetry gasm right now as we speak. Holy crap. Because that's so, the way you described it was like, wait a second, hold on. It's so vivid. Like, I saw everything you were saying. That's why I was like, ooh, wow. Because I always think about, too, like the gloomy day, but I also thought about, okay, like if the house, like this is going on inside the house, but the lights are not on. Like you see the thing from the outside, but it's the light from the outside. But you know how sometimes it's like a grayish light? That's
Hmm.
the way I saw the atmosphere of the house.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely try and paint a picture, a vivid picture of my feelings. That's something that I definitely strive for. So
Mm.
if people can feel what I'm feeling, then that's exactly what I was going for.
Wow. That you gotta give us another piece because this is so good. Oh my God.
All right, I got another one here. This one is called Falling Out of Grace. And sometimes you need to fall, to feel the cold pavement make contact with your bones, to experience the way the pain steals your breath, to sit up slowly and swipe the small pebbles from your palms, to look around and wonder, what the hell happened? The feeling chips at the numbness so you felt so comfortable in. The painted up portrayal of white picket fences around you seems more vivid, yet from a dream. Back on your feet, you look down at the place that you fell. You search down the street from which you came. Not another soul exists in this moment. The pulsating adrenaline flows through you, awakening what had lied dormant inside. I am alive.
Wow. That's wow. Damn. You know what's interesting though? Because I feel like in life, in order for us to be in that better place, sometimes we have to kind of fall from grace, which pun
Mhm.
intended. And it's so interesting because I think life, it sucks that it's like that, but I feel like it's necessary. Like
True.
one thing, like when I first gave my life to the Lord, somebody told me something a long time ago that at the time I didn't understand it, but I understand it now. Some things have to get worse in order for them to get better, and I feel like that's
True.
exactly what you painted,
Mhm.
because it's true. Because you know what it is, when things get worse, it just means that there's certain things you kind of have to start letting go, because when you go into that light, or when you go into that next season in your life, you can't take all those things with you. So
Exactly.
sometimes when you fall, it's like, you know what? sometimes the baggage gets too heavy, you fall, and it's like, okay, you know, I can't take everything with me. It's like when you go to bed, right? You're not gonna take your I don't know, like you're not gonna take your Walkman with you. You're not gonna take every single thing to bed with you when you lay, right? You want to be comfortable, so sometimes you have to
Exactly.
not wear your clothes. Sometimes you just wear your house clothes to go to sleep or whatever the case is. I don't know if that's a good analogy, but I
No,
look at it in that sense. Oh, when you go take a shower, right? You're not gonna take your phone with you. You're not gonna take your bottle of water with you. No, you're gonna
yeah,
go in there, take a shower, and use what you need. So it's in that same
exactly.
way, it's
Yeah,
like you're not taking every single thing with you because some things just can't go with you when you
exactly. Yeah, you have
So that's the
to.
way I saw that.
Yeah, sometimes you have to
Yeah.
hit rock bottom and climb back out. For life to be better. Yeah, it's important.
Wow.
Important lesson.
Okay, so is that piece that you read, right? Is that about something that particularly happened, or it was just something you just wrote just to write?
It was, I think, a time where I was feeling down on myself, and um, I'm not exactly sure what had happened. I mean, I wrote it quite a while ago, but to me it sounds like something happened. Maybe I lost a job, or was dealing with relationships that weren't good for me. And, that's when I tend to write stuff about, falling down and, getting back up, just getting back on my feet, or remembering that I'm still alive, and it's okay to fall down, and it's okay to have those moments, and you're still alive, you're
Yeah.
still feeling, you felt that ground underneath your hands, you're kind of wakes you up again, like, oh, here I am, I'm still alive, I'm still breathing. It's a good thing to remind yourself of.
No, I definitely agree with you with that. That's what it is too. I think as long as when you fall, as long as the fall doesn't kill you, and we know, okay, you know what, I got to get back up. It's like, oh, that hurt, and maybe I might have broke a bone here, or I might have pulled a muscle here, but wait, but I'm still alive. Yeah, this thing hurts, but I'm still alive. I'm
Yep.
breathing. I got to wake up the next day. So, okay, all right, maybe it's not that bad after all. Okay, but we don't think about that at the time. We think about it after the
Mhm.
fact, after everything happens.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
oh man. So definitely, I love that. Yeah, you're gonna have to give us another piece yeah, you're gonna have to give us another piece because this is so.
I'll give you a happier one now. Um, this one's called obitory. It's a Japanese word. Um, Cherry blossoms dream of plums. Peaches and apricots infuse my thoughts. Obitory idioms have me licking up the crumbs of everything I ever bought. But such intricate flowers have a very different taste. Everything beautiful grows at its own pace.
Wow.
And and let me just tell you guys what obitory means. Um, it comes from the kanji for the four trees that bloom in spring. Cherry blossoms, plum, peach, and apricot. Each flower blooms in its own time, and the meaning behind the idiom is that we all grow and bloom at our own pace.
Wow. So what? Yeah. Jack says, tasty.
I think so too.
Oh, man. So, what made you call it that title?
I just liked the word, the fact that it means that people grow and bloom at their own pace is really important to me because I'm 37. It did take me a long time to figure out who I was and what I want, and I'm still figuring that out. And I used to feel bad about that. I used to think, well, gosh, I'm when I was 30, I thought I should be here, and when and I'm 37, I should be here in life, and it's just silly to think those things. There's always time, and I try and remind myself that where I am right now is where I am meant to be, and to just take every day as a blessing and take everything in stride.
Wow, I definitely agree with you because you know it's true. I mean, I'm 38. I'm gonna be 39, so we're in the same boat. So I get that. It's interesting because I grew up at a time where like I was sort of have they were supposed to have an expectation of me, oh, because you should know better or you should do this. well, you know, we're in college, you get the associate's degree, that you get your bachelor's around these 2 years, and then you're supposed to get this high-paying career job. And that was, to me, that was the facade that was painted for me. So, oh yeah, okay, great, because my brother didn't do it like that, neither did my sister, because she never finished. So I'm gonna be the person to have to watch. And it was, to me, it was all bullshit, because what they don't tell you in these, you know, I blame the commercials, I blame the advertisement, because oh, jumpstart your career at whatever college. But the problem is, they don't tell you is, when you, after you graduate, it doesn't guarantee that you're gonna get that job right away, just because you have a degree, or just because you have certain things. And there was that expectation, oh, you get that job, and then at a certain age you're supposed to get married, and then at a certain age you have kids. I didn't have my first kid until, like, let me see, 2019, so I was 33. Like,
I still don't have kids, so.
You know, and that's what I'm saying, because there was,
there's time.
Yeah, but you know, it's funny, because me and my wife had that conversation a lot, especially recently. We was just talking about, like, our past and stuff. She said that, you know, she got married at 20. I forgot what age it was, but she was telling me how, oh, well, I'm already in my 20s, I should be married. She spent all this money on the wedding thing, only to get an annulment because things didn't work out. And the second marriage, that didn't work out, and then I got married. I was like I'm like the third time the charm husband. But it was like this whole idea that we have to live up to a certain expectation just because we're at a certain age. And I've come to learn now that just what worked for everybody else might not work for you, right? But I also believe is that everything happens at your own pace, and I definitely agree with that. See, I grew up at a time where I wasn't allowed to have my own pace. I was told, no, come on, you gotta hurry up. You gotta hurry up. Come on, man, you're already. And I realized, no, it's not that serious. It's not that fucking serious, because look at the people who, and this is how I look at it. Look at the people who did all that shit, and they're fucking miserable.
Exactly. Yep.
Let that sink in, guys. Let that sink in.
You'll never get out alive.
Yeah. And I'm gonna read the comments too, because this is important. I like to make sure the audience is involved. Yeah, Tiara Nicole says she relates. Elibra Abraham says that is good. Yeah, I definitely agree with Jack. He says you have to do the legwork. That's true. You know what? You know what sucks about that? They don't, like, because, okay, I always say this too. I feel like the older generation does not give back to us, I guess, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's all cultures, but I know in Hispanic culture, they do not give back. They expect you to just understand what the hell they're talking about. Yeah, if that makes sense.
You just gotta know.
Right, and it's like, if I ask you a question, oh, that means you're not listening. No, I'm trying to understand, because you tell me, okay, yo, you need to start saving money. Okay, but how did you save money? Do I save 20? Do I save 30?
You'll figure it out.
Right, and it's like, no, like they didn't teach about the birds and the bees. Like, I had to learn that on my own.
Right.
I didn't understand
it's like
that.
Saying, lift yourself up by your bootstraps. It's like, how? Tell me how. It's just silly sayings that they always say, and you know, it kind of makes sense, but you're just like, I don't understand exactly what you need me to do, exactly what I need to figure out. And it is kind of sad, but I mean, I think our at least my generation has kind of learned, like, well, you know, it's not that serious. We can kind of try and figure out what we actually want to do with our lives, and we don't have to stick to this strict schedule just because, you know, the generation before us did it.
And sometimes, you know what is too, and I'm still reading the comments, says they're tight-lipped as shit. And then Jack said, they're like, I had to figure it out, so you should, instead of being like, oh, okay, I guess he's still finishing the sentence. Still learning, I'm still learning. Yeah, that's by B-Psych. So I'm still learning. I'm 30, I'm gonna be 39. I'm one more year to 40. I'm still learning about life. I'm still soul searching. Yeah, I walk into things of God, but I don't get it right all the time. They had this expectation, or there was this thing, and I don't think it was intentional either, but we don't realize sometimes that we hurt people when we do that, because when we don't live up to your expectations of life, then we feel like a failure. Then we feel like shit. Feel like, oh, I'll never be like that. The worst thing you can do is compare yourself to somebody else. It is so true. That's why I love your piece, because it does take a process, and they don't teach you that. And same thing with
Mm-hmm.
marriage. I'll say this, and I've learned this the hard way. Like, especially like if you're in like in a Christian community, you know, you get married and all this other stuff. What they don't tell you is when you, if after you get married, they don't tell you that, well, if you have generational curses, then you kind of have to somewhat, some way try to deal with that before you get married. Because I thought that once I got married, that whatever habits I had was going to go away. And
Yeah,
they didn't tell us all that. That's the sad part. I feel like if you give someone advice, like you gotta watch how you say it, what you say, how it comes off, because it does matter. It could change the
definitely
trajectory of
matters.
how a person sees life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to break that ancient or that childhood trauma. Like there's a lot of trauma that a lot of people don't even know that they have.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it goes through to every relationship. It sinks into every relationship that you have. And if you don't even understand that you have this problem, then, you know, it's just going to make everything harder for you as you get older. So yeah, it's good to know that when you're younger.
Like if you know people who are younger than you, what would be your advice to them, I guess?
Oh, don't be afraid to fail. Do not be afraid to fail. I think so many people are afraid to fail that they don't try. And trying and failing is a part of life. And if you're failing, then you're trying. And that's important. I remember being so afraid to fail growing up that I just never even tried a lot of things that I wish I had done. And I would tell everybody, just go out there, try everything that you ever want to try it. You will find what you love doing that for sure.
Wow.
Do it
Do it
scared, yes,
scared
do it scared.
has to be a model for me and all the yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah, I remember that saying too. Yeah, do it afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm a
Absolutely.
big fan of wrestling, and there was this one guy, Paul Heyman. Because he had a company, then the company, you know, because financial struggles. But he said, if you want to succeed, you can't be afraid of fail. If you're afraid of
Mm-hmm.
failure, you cannot succeed.
Exactly. Exactly. Super
So
important.
my question is, um, but what does success actually look like to people, right? I feel like success looks different to everybody. Like, what about like in your honest opinion, what does success look like to you?
Success to me is just being able to do what I love. It doesn't necessarily mean making money off of it. It doesn't necessarily mean becoming rich and famous or anything like that. Doing what I love, loving the people in my life, and having the time to do both is success to me.
Mm. It's not my own way. It came from a collective somewhere. Ah, okay, that's what I was just reading the comments and stuff. Yeah, and I definitely agree with you on that. I think it's important to understand that, like you said, everything takes time. And when you
Mm-hmm.
rush the process, I feel like it's like when you're walking, right? If you walk too fast, there might be something you miss along the way. So if you walk slow, I don't want to say walk too slow, walk too fast, but if you walk at a pace that's more comfortable with you, but you're realizing, okay, maybe I should look around instead of just looking straight. If I look around to see what's going on, I could learn something along the
Yeah,
way to where I need to be. So I definitely agree with you on
definitely.
that.
Situational awareness.
Yes, yes. Because I don't like being one side. Hold on. I don't like being one-sided, and I've had people ridicule me for that. I don't feel like life should be one-sided. I think life should be understood in variables. Yes, I do believe in Jesus, but I understand that, hey, there are other factors of life that, you know, and long as you don't compromise what you believe in and you understand what you believe, but it's good to embrace everything else because you learn, you get knowledge that way. It helps you understand things in a clear perspective. Okay, I'm not gonna compromise what I believe in, but I'm willing to listen to what's
Yeah,
around me because
super
I can
important.
learn something. And that's the problem with civilization today. Everybody will say, this is what it is, and that's it, and it's not. Not like that. I'm sorry. Like, just, you're not gonna convince me that everything's one-sided. That means everybody will succeed, and that's what it was. It's not like that.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, it's important to realize that everybody has their own ideas about life, and just because it's not the same as yours doesn't mean that they're not succeeding in their life and succeeding in what they believe, and still being good people doing it too. You know, a lot of people think, you know, if you don't believe in Jesus or you don't believe in God, then, you know, you must be sinning, you must be immoral. You know, that certain thing is, like you said, one-sided. And there's a lot of ways to be a great person and still live your life as Jesus would without actually believing in it too.
Awesome, awesome. Wow. This was wow. So give us one more piece. You got to give us another piece because this is so
One more?
good. Yes,
Okay.
this is so good. Wow. Don't you agree, everybody that's watching? This is so good. A
All
great
right.
episode 1 of season 9. This is a great start. Oh my God.
I'm loving it. This has been so fun. All right. This is another good one. I don't want to get too sad on you. This one's called My Humanity, since we were kind of talking about that. When you aren't diving into the chaotic waves of the sea, allowing them to thrash about you, when you choose instead to sit back as an observer of the sea as a whole, you can clearly witness the magnitude of how dangerous those waves can be. All the while you are hearing, smelling, feeling, breathing, experiencing the beauty of an entirely hidden universe. Its violent nature doesn't make you love it any less, and what better reflection of humanity than that of the sea?
Wow. Wow. There's so many directions you could take that in. Talk to me about this. This is wow.
So, when I wrote this, I had actually gotten to see the sea for the first time, and you realize, like, the sea is beautiful when you're sitting back and looking at it, but when you go into the sea, it can get very dangerous. People can die out in the sea. There's a lot of dangerous things in the sea, and you know, when you're sitting back, you can still witness the sea. You can smell it, you can hear it, you can feel it, you can breathe it, and that just reminds me so much of how humanity is. Just that, you know, as an observer of humanity as a whole, you can see how violent it can be. You can see how beautiful it is. You can, you know, just have every sensation that there is to think about when it comes to humanity. And there's also an entirely hidden universe under the sea. There's life in there. There's everything life that we don't even know about yet, which is amazing to me. So when I think about humanity and the sea together, I mean, there's just so much mystery in both of those things, and so much beauty and love and violence and things we don't completely understand, but it doesn't make us love it any less.
Mm, damn. That's the wow.
Thank you.
Wow. You know what? Because I was trying to, as I'm listening to you, I'm like grasping so many images. I don't even know where to begin. I'll begin with that. Yeah, it's true. Like it's true. Like from the outside looking from the distance. Oh, that
Mm-hmm.
looks good. But it's like you said, we have to be careful because when we go into the sea, I think in life, when we go into a situation or a season, we have to take caution, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because one wrong turn, one wrong word you say, or whatever the case is, could kind of change how everything
Change the
goes.
waves.
Yeah, it's so true. People can die to sea because everybody loves surfing, but we have to be careful how the waves look because if the waves are too powerful and you don't know it, and then you get sucked into the wave, it can kill you or it can paralyze you.
Yep.
I think life works like that too. It could paralyze you emotionally. Doesn't necessarily have to be physically, right? It could, mentally, it could paralyze you. Emotionally, spiritually, it could paralyze. Life can be like that sometimes. Because
It's true. Yeah.
what I've learned in life is not, grass ain't always green on the other side, if that makes sense.
Exactly. Yes.
Because we like
Yeah.
the idea of something, but without but if we're not carefully discerning what we're trying to like, it's kind of like you go to a new job, oh, I'm gonna get away from this drama, and they think that the next job is gonna be less drama, and maybe to a sense it is, but what people don't realize is you don't know the boss or the person. There might be other people you're gonna deal with in the job that maybe you didn't deal with them over there, but it might be worse over there.
It's true.
So many things, and then I thought about under the sea. There is life under the sea that we don't even know about. So true, and it's crazy because I feel like whatever happens up down there could affect what's up here sometimes, because we just see like what's on the top because that's all we can see, right? But we don't know what they're going down there, what's going on really, really down deep below. So I think that's how our minds are also. I think our minds are kind of like the ocean kind of thing. Like my body, like my appearance in front of you, this is what you see, right? But what's inside me in a mental sense, spiritual sense, we don't know what war I'm fighting. And sometimes the wave gets violent.
Exactly. Yes. So many ways it can go, like you said. So many thoughts. And I definitely have all those thoughts writing it. And every time I read it, I think something different too. So depending on where I am in my life. So that's why I like that one.
Wow. I love the way you write. That was wow.
Thank you.
It went into so many directions and it opened up so much conversation, which was like, holy shit, man. That oh my goodness. So we are almost towards the end, but not yet. So I guess wanted to ask about like when people hear your name, Ambrea Noel, right? They hear you, talk about you. If there's anything you want anyone to remember you by when they hear your name, what impact you want to leave, what would that look like to you?
That I definitely just write from the heart. Anything that I am feeling, whether it's super raw, super dark, super abstract, I write everything, and I don't edit it. It's very rare that I edit things. It's really more of, grammatical errors, stuff like that. But I don't edit my soul. I just let it out, and people can interpret it however they feel that they need to, and I hope that they can take away something for themselves, while also seeing me. But I love that so many people have come and told me their interpretations of my work, and it's taught me a lot too about my writing, because I see it in different lights from other people. So it's a really beautiful thing. So yes, I don't edit my soul, I would say, is what I'd want people to take away.
I love that saying. You don't edit your soul. That is, because like when it comes to correction, like like the grammatical errors, that makes sense. But I never thought about it like that, because there are times I do, like maybe I don't like the way how this sounded. Maybe I should change it up in a way that doesn't sound crazy. But then what you just said now made me realize something. When we correct too much, you lose the essence of what your soul was trying to speak.
Very true. Yes.
Like, I never thought about that. That really, hold on, because even in the comments right now, I'm getting misty-eyed. Wow, you don't edit your soul. That is, oh man, you have a way with words. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Thank you.
Wow, wow.
Well, thank you so much.
Tierra Nicole said, I don't edit my soul. I love that. I'm definitely following. I love your poetry, and I can't wait to hear more. Then they want more. Do you have more? Maybe from your book?
Yeah, I can share one from my book. Let me see.
Oh man, that really wow. You said you don't edit your soul. That is, damn. That really, that really. Hold on. And then Jack said, me as well. Can't wait to see what you come up with. Yeah. Oh my God. This is I ain't gonna lie, I didn't think the interview was gonna go like this. This was more powerful than I ever imagined because it really opened up I don't want to say can of worms. It opened up a lot of intrigue in a way I never experienced before. I was like, oh shit, like that was wow. But
I
that
love that. I'm so
that
glad.
line, that line you said, I don't edit my soul. That's and you know what's coming up as I'm hearing that? I keep hearing don't edit your soul because you could compromise what you're really trying to say. Like that, you know, that's crazy. Wow.
Can of cans. Okay, I have one more. This one is from my book. It's called Embracing Death. I finally found comfort in the embrace of my own mortality. The fear felt hollow, a caved-out maze within every turn, a new phase in converting my mentality. I once greeted death with rigid formality before she showed me myself, beyond insipid frugality, beneath the fleshy layers of carnality, weaved within entrails, temporarily impaled into bone. My body is a host. I am simply a guest in its home.
Wow. Okay. Wow. I don't know if Rainier's listening, but if he is, or he is, that he's probably gonna hit me up later and say, "Oh, why'd you say that?" But I retired from poetry. I can't write nothing after that. Wow. Okay.
No, no.
Wow. Hold up. You. Wow. Talk. Where where that come from? That is. You're a guest in its home. Like that is crazy. Wow.
I've always believed that um, we are not our bodies. Our body is we use our bodies. We are our souls, and it kind of helped me feel okay with death. It made me feel better about death, knowing that or believing that my soul will never die. It's made of energy. It's going to go on to be somewhere else in the world. It just won't be in this form anymore. It won't be in this body anymore. And it kind of makes me wonder what else is out there and feel okay about not being in this body anymore and taking every day that I do have in this body as a chance to live this life that I've been given in this form before I go and live my life in another form.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Wow. Yeah, and everybody's intrigued here too. Yeah. You just inspired me with something that was lit. And that was by Jack. Oh,
Thank you.
man. Um. Wow. Wow. Yeah. I definitely agree with that. We're spiritual beings more than we are physical beings. Because I think, yeah, like I always like even in the things of God, like when we die, this stays here. What we have, we can't take it with us.
Exactly.
So in that same way, yeah. I don't edit my still as a whole prompt. I'm typing now. Oh damn. You know what?
Yay!
I'm not really a fan of prompts, but I think it seems like it's kind of becoming a popular thing again. So I don't know. I might do a prompt for this brand and don't edit my soul. I might. I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna cave into the prompt. I'm not a
Hey,
prompt
prompts can be
guy,
fun.
but I don't know. I might. Um, what was I going to say though? Oh, but speaking of prompts, didn't you win something recently?
Oh, on Instagram?
Yeah, there wasn't there a prompt that you won with the painting?
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think she was here earlier. I don't know. I think she popped in. But let me get her name right because I have her.
Yeah.
But yeah, she does. I love, if you can tell from my page, I try to support artists. And when I do find artists on Instagram, I do try and collaborate with them if they'll allow me to. I do I do prompts for sure. I do love looking at pictures and trying to create something from there. Um, but her name is Art by ALAILESCU. And she makes beautiful art. If you guys see it, it's this. There's this second picture on my page right now is one of hers, and yeah, I won third place for my writing on her picture. But yes, I do love supporting artists. So if you guys make any, photography, or if you do any type of drawing, painting, I do love writing
by the way,
poetry too.
because I do follow her too. This is. Wait. So, do you mind reading the piece that you wrote then for that?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Right? Like, yeah. I think I'm gonna. Yeah. You know what, Jack and Tiara. Yeah. I think I'm gonna do. Yeah. So I think. Yeah. Me and her. Yeah. So I'll DM you, Ambrea, after this about doing a collaboration prompt. I think we're gonna do a prompt, and maybe we can do a live read or something. Yeah. Yeah. Because this is. Wow, this is good. I don't edit myself. I'm still on that. Like, I'm legitimately still on that.
All right, my internet's not being nice. I'll read this other one that I wrote. I didn't win this one, but if I find it, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
But yeah, so this was a prompt from a really beautiful girl. She's got blue hair. She's got birds flying in front of her face. And I wrote, she can see things above the clouds without ever fluttering a wing. She can envision a fearless future whilst looking down at the death of everything she ever knew. So super short.
Wow. Wait, so all that came out just from that right there? Just like that?
Yeah.
Wow. I know, right? Like, oh my God. Wow. 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 Ambrea, thank you so much for doing this interview live. Being my first episode, season 9. This was, yeah, so far the greatest episode I've done in my years of like doing. This is season 9. This season 9 is already off to an amazing hot start. Holy crap.
You're making me blush. Thank you so much. I'm so honored.
I'm serious. This is why I do this, though. This is why I do interviews and lives. It's to inspire one another, but also to lift each other up, man. There's so many words and stories and things that need to be told, and like, everybody. I mean, I'm not dissing anybody. It's just, yeah, everybody does open mics and they read, but I love when it's just conversation. This is so good, and thank you for. And to think our interaction was legit because you thought I was just spam liking something.
Now so nervous for my first live, and it was so good. It was so much fun.
Thank you. Yeah, Jack would say we're leveling it up. Yeah, thank you. So, like I said, we are now towards the end. Any last words?
I just want to thank you so much for inviting me. It's been awesome. As you know, my first live ever, never done anything live. I'm such a scaredy cat, but it was great, and I'm so glad I got to share it with you, and that you invited me to this amazing thing. I know you're doing such amazing work with other poets, and I definitely support that, and I love it. So I want to be a part of it forever.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Guys, thank you so much for joining this live with Ambrea Noel. If you don't know who she is, you know who she is now. Follow her. Check out her book, Twilight Till Dawn. It's on Amazon. You can look it up. You can follow her. It's IM.Ambrea. And again, thank you so much for this is amazing. Great start to season 9. But thank you.